You found a black widow and you want to keep it as a pet, but you aren't sure where to start. This video is a beginner's guide to keeping black widows and everything you need to know about them. The first thing you need to do is figure out what you're going to use as an enclosure. I recommend only using containers that either have a front opening door like all of these enclosures, or some type of dome top or bottom opening enclosure where you access the spider from the bottom. Never use a top opening enclosure for a black widow because they like to build their webs up high, and if the lid opens up from the top every single time you go to access the spider, you're going to be damaging their web. Black widows are also extremely cannibalistic, so you can only have one spider per enclosure. After you've selected the container, you need to decorate the enclosure. Black widows don't leave their web at all, and they're horrible at walking on the ground, so they don't need any type of substrate. But because of this, you need to make sure that they have a lot of really strong points for them to build their web from. How I did this was I collected sticks from an area with no pesticides, and then I used hot glue to glue them in place. You can also use other objects like toys and figurines for more web building points if you just don't want an enclosure full of sticks. Next is their feeding schedule. Black widows are very low maintenance and they don't need to be fed very often. I feed my black widows once every 2 weeks, but their eating schedule is pretty flexible, so if you want to feed them once a week, you can. If you want to feed them once every 3 weeks, you can. I found that my black widows seem to enjoy crickets the best, so that's primarily what I feed them. And during these feedings, I just grab the cricket by the leg and I wrap it up in their web. Make sure that the cricket is alive because the spider has to be able to sense the cricket's movements to find it in its web. Now onto watering. For this, I just get a regular spray bottle and I put it on the finest mist setting and I mist the enclosure. Make sure when you're misting that you don't directly hit the spider with the water because they don't appreciate that at all. So try to mist away from your spider, but make sure you still get water droplets on the webs so they can drink from it. Now let's talk about maintenance. You might have never thought about this before, but spiders poop a lot. Every single one of those drops is poop. So a regular part of maintaining these enclosures is making sure you clean up their poop. I do this by getting a damp piece of paper towel and just scrubbing the crap out of the floor until all of the poop comes up. While you're in there doing this, also remove any dead bug carcasses that are either in the webs or laying on the ground. I do this once a month. And finally, this is very important information, your black widow will have an egg sac. If your black widow is captive bred, they're most likely not fertile. But if you just went outside and snatched one up, there's a huge chance that you have a fertile spider. Female black widows can store sperm, and this means that they don't need a male present to create egg sacs. And the sperm storage is pretty much infinite, so they can create as many egg sacs as they want. Thankfully, they only produce egg sacs during mating season, which is summer, but during those few months they can produce 2 to 5 egg sacs, each containing hundreds of babies. The way that I deal with this is by culling. Every time I see an egg sac in one of my spider enclosures, I remove it and put it in the freezer for a couple of days. In my personal opinion, freezing the egg sacs is the most humane way to get rid of these spiders. They aren't suffering during this freezing process, and you aren't endangering other people by just throwing the egg sac outside. Thanks for watching!